last night, Khabib Nurmagomedov, will cut right to it, defended his 155-pound, his lightweight belt, undisputed, undefeated, and retires. What a night. Khabib is just something else. What an emotional night for him as well.
No, end of the story, you know.
Why don't you start us off on this? What were your thoughts on last night? I'll just let you. This nice broad question. Tell me your thoughts on last night as a whole, on Khabib, on what he did, and I guess on his career.
Honestly, I'll tell you right off the bat, it's a shame that this fight didn't have a crowd, because I could only imagine that the whole effect of just everything happening that night would have been amplified to an extraordinary degree had there been just a massive crowd in there. But it was a phenomenal fight. I mean, Khabib really came in there and, really gave Gaethje the business. What a great way to end his last fight. I mean, he starts by standing up with Gaethje and giving him like a lot of problems on the feet, really leaving Gaethje, in a very defensive position. And I think, one thing that a lot of casual fans who haven't maybe tuned into many Khabib fights, they maybe didn't realize that his boxing was as strong as it was. He could really, with the threat of his takedowns, I mean, he really put the pressure on Gaethje and never let up. I mean, Gaethje had a phenomenal first round. He did everything that a person conceivably can do in a first round against Khabib. Watch for the takedowns, defend, when you can, and he landed shots, when he was able to, but just in everywhere and every aspect, Khabib is dominant. And Gaethje had the trouble that he had, then, I don't think there's anyone else out there. I don't think there's anyone else who even comes close. This is a once in a lifetime figure right here. Just an absolute beast in the sport. And a lot of these Dagestan guys, they're really rising through the ranks. They are really showing some phenomenal skill. But even among them, Khabib rises above. He is a once in a lifetime special fighter. And it's a really great thing that we've been blessed with watching his career over our lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was an incredible performance. Such a fast pace, right off during the first round. I mean, Khabib was just putting on constant pressure and backing Justin up. One of the things that he did that I think sort of emphasizes his caliber of expertise was like Khabib at one point shot in from 10 feet away. And Justin wasn't even prepared, regardless of them being so far and separated. Like, you think Justin would have sort of had time to realize that a takedown's coming and prepare to stop it. But Khabib is just another creature of this earth.
Yeah, he's just something else, and I think it's the speed in those takedowns, the ability to just change direction so quickly, the explosiveness. And of course, what everyone talks about is his strength, but it's really the technique and the tiny details. He has everything down to a T, to the point where he has the strength of a guy that's 170 or 185, but he has the technique that makes it so he doesn't need to use that strength. And he just he out techniques you. He doesn't work so hard because he doesn't have to. But in that first round, he did. And to Noah's point, Justin was doing everything he could to just stay alive. Justin, to his credit, I think very much stayed competitive with Khabib that first round. He defended most of the takedowns until the very end of the round. I think he got taken down 35-40 seconds left in the round, but he was moving around, he was changing directions, using a ton of footwork. He was eating up at that leg of Khabib, and they were exchanging on the feet, and it didn't really look like any one of them was winning more than the other. Khabib obviously was putting on the pressure to a major extent. But it didn't look like that necessarily one of them was winning the striking exchanges, except for maybe Justin with the leg kicks. And for that reason, actually, two of the judges gave Gaethje the first round, because even when Khabib got that takedown, there were still about 35-40 seconds left in the round, but he didn't do that much with the takedown. However,
sorry, Roy, can I just interject really quickly?
Yes.
Did you notice that when Gaethje was finally taken down and against the fence for that last little bit of the first round, it almost looked like he mouthed to himself, like, fuck.
No, I disagree with that, but I'm going to get right back to that. Yes, he didn't do that much with the takedown when he got it. So Gaethje did win that first round. But what was different about it was that while he was winning, he was still looked frantic the whole time. He was running away from Khabib. Khabib was putting on the pressure, and Gaethje was just trying to dance around. It didn't look like a pace that Gaethje could sustain. To be honest, even Khabib's pace didn't look like a pace that anybody could sustain. But Khabib didn't look gassed by it. He looked like he was able to go like that forever. But Gaethje just looked dead. And so what Khabib said at the beginning before this fight, he said, I'm going to tire him out. He didn't say necessarily I'm going to tire him out with the grappling. He said his game plan was to tire him out. And that's exactly what he did. He just pressured him. And even though Gaethje got what he wanted for the most of that fight was on the feet. And everyone said, if it's on the feet, it's Gaethje's fight. Gaethje got what he wanted, but Khabib's pressure, even on the feet, was so much that it still gassed Gaethje out to the point where eventually Khabib did get the takedown, partially as a result of Gaethje just not having quite the same power and explosiveness as he did earlier, and eventually got the finish as a result. It's that pressure that Khabib puts on you that's just unrelenting and impossible to stop.
I actually agree with Noah that I think every single opponent that Khabib faces has that moment of like, oh, this is what everybody means by the Khabib pressure. I think the Dagestani wrestling is just something not from this earth, and everybody that faces it is just thrown off their feet, no matter if, there's somebody with the wrestling credential like Justin Gaethje, or just, they have good grappling in general. I think they're just surprised every time, no matter what, because his entire life is just bad wrestling.
Mm-hmm.